This is the moment of truth for me to discuss Nvidia stock and answer 3 of the most common questions that I got on the stock. Has been one of the best performing stocks in a while, and it was widely covered by YouTube. Many people made money on Nvidia. Many people shorted Nvidia and lost a lot of money on YouTube, but I've never really discussed Nvidia in depth. But most of you know that I've been pretty bearish on the stock, and I'm one of the people that did miss out on the Nvidia rally. This is a stock that's up 225% over the past year and over 1,595% over the last 5 years. And I did miss out on Nvidia. I'm going to answer these 3 questions. The first one is, did I short Nvidia? The second one, do I regret missing out on Nvidia, which I believe is going to be very helpful to some of you that did miss out on Nvidia, but will also be helpful to those of you that made money in Nvidia, maybe by luck, maybe you bought it for certain reasons. And I think it will be a very good video anyway. And the last one is more about my portfolio. If I did miss out on Nvidia, if I missed out on Palantir, if I missed out on Amazon, I mean, how is the portfolio doing? Am I suffering? Am I one of the worst investors ever? Well, I'm going to share some of that with you here on YouTube in this video at the end of it. And I'm going to share some examples of the stocks that I try to invest in. So I think it's going to be a very important video. It's going to be helpful to a lot of people. And I'm going to share with you a few things around it, even though it's likely going to get a lot of dislikes, a lot of hate comments, a lot of unsubscribers. This is what happened when you talk something negative about a popular stock like Nvidia, about Palantir. I mean, I post anything on Twitter, I get on followers just because I said something bad about Nvidia. I mean, this is the kind of stock this one is. But as you know, I try to say what I think. And the first question is, did I short Nvidia? A lot of people lost money. Over $8 billion were lost in people shorting Nvidia in 2023 alone. With the 2024 rally, it's likely much more than $8 billion, maybe close to $10 billion. So a lot of money was lost shorting Nvidia. And the truth is, did I short Nvidia? And the answer is no, I have not shorted Nvidia, for 2 main reasons. And I lost money before Nvidia, shorting stocks like Nvidia, and I lost a lot of money. And everything in the market, I learned it the hard way. And this is why I try to do these videos with you guys, so I can help you out with the things that I learned the hard way, with the things I lost money learning them the hard way, so you don't have to do the same, and you could maybe save a little bit of money trying to at least consider some of the things I talk about in the video. And I have 2 main rules for short selling or for shorting stocks. I share them in 2023. The first one is never short a cult stock. A cult stock meaning a stock like Nvidia, a stock like Tesla, a stock like Palantir, a stock maybe a little bit like SoFi, although SoFi is, people are more rational with SoFi. But you know, these kind of stocks, Affirm maybe, and these kind of Alibaba, these kind of stocks are more of a cult following, meaning people really defend these stocks and they really believe in them, and a lot of people will buy them not just for the fundamentals, but just because the stock is going up or because the story is great. And this is something you never want to bet on because it's already irrational. It could get even more and more irrational. So I never short a cold stock. The second one is never short a stock at all-time high, because you have a lot of the algorithm and momentum traders. They're trying to push the stock higher, and you have the algorithms, they keep buying it every time it hits the support. And Nvidia kept making new 52-week highs, and I never short a stock near 52-week highs. Therefore, I have never shorted Nvidia. And, you know, I saved money shorting Nvidia, but I also lost potential gains not buying Nvidia, which is why I'm going to go more into the second question. And this is, do I regret missing out? Because a lot of people that haven't bought Nvidia, they watch the stock every day. And they're like, when is the stock going to go down? Because they're angry because other people are making money while their own stocks are not going up. And they say, oh, I could have bought Nvidia at $500 per share, even $600 per share, even $650 per share. Now it's sitting at $735, and you could have still made some money. So it just feels frustrating. And I understand the way you feel if you missed out on Nvidia. And the people every day, even in my own group, some of them, they're like, when is Nvidia going to go down? What's going to happen? Well, I mean, I don't really look at Nvidia that much. I mean, I rarely track the stock, to be honest, because I'm more focused with my own investments that I'm investing in. But the main question is, do I regret missing out? And the truth is, I don't really regret missing out. Maybe a little bit. If I did buy Nvidia, yes, I would have been up 225% for the past year. It would have been amazing. But I have to ask myself, why would I have bought Nvidia? Most people that bought Nvidia, why did they buy Nvidia? Was it because they believed the company is going to keep beating? No one ever believed the company can keep beating on these numbers. I mean, very few people expected that. The company beat everyone's expectations and they kept increasing the numbers. But most people bought Nvidia, and I think you could agree with me. Most people bought Nvidia was because they believe AI is the future and because their friends are making money with Nvidia, so they have to participate because they are missing out. And most people cannot take seeing other people making money with something. They have to jump in on the train or whatever people call it. We saw some of that in 2021, which I'm going to get into. But most people bought Nvidia because it was a popular stock and because AI is the future. This is the main thesis, and I think you can agree with me. It wasn't mainly just from fundamentals or believing the stock is going to continue beating. I think it was mainly the story that AI is the future. So if I would have bought Nvidia because AI was the future, I would have made money on Nvidia. Yes, I would have been up 225%. But this is a story that's very rare and it does not happen very often. Most of the time, whenever you invest in the next big thing, you lose a lot of money. Very few times the company actually meets and exceeds the high expectation that's baked in the company. And this is what happens with Nvidia. And this is an extremely rare event. And the way I think about it, if you've been an investor over the last 5 years, and if you bought Nvidia just because of the story, because AI is the future, you most likely have also bought Tesla at the peak around $370 to $400 because EVs were the future in late 2021, and it was one of the most popular stocks. And if you did buy it, you're now down 47%, or if you bought it in early 2021, now you're still flat or down around 0.5%. So you've been flat for the last 3 years because you bought the next big thing, and Tesla did not catch up to the high expectations that were baked in the company. This is what happens. But Nvidia is a very rare case because expectations are very high, but it's meeting those expectations. So now we can look at something else. Let's say you were also an investor and you jumped on Nvidia and Tesla because you were investing in the next big thing. Well, maybe you also most likely jumped on Beyond Meat and lost a lot of money in Beyond Meat. Why? Because plant-based food was the future. And if you bought Beyond Meat anytime over the last 5 years, you're down 89%. So this is another example when if you're just investing because this is the next big thing, because it's a popular stock and all this kind of stuff, you have lost money for the second time because the company could not meet the very high expectation. And maybe if you bought these two stocks, maybe you invested in a very popular company, which is called Plug Power. If you remember the whole hype around it, that these kind of systems for clean energy, they are the future. And we know what happened to Plug Power. It went to $63. People were jumping in and out. Same with Neo, same with Virgin Galactic, because the space and you're investing in the space for the future, it's the same thing, down 94%. So my main thing is that yes, maybe I do regret not buying Nvidia because I could have made money. But I ask myself, why would I have bought Nvidia? It was looking very expensive. Well, because maybe it was a popular stock and because something is the future. Well, yes, this has worked this time. And let's say it worked with you and you made money. I congratulate you. You did amazing. But this is not something you can do consistently. This is not something you can pick every single year. You're not going to find the next Nvidia every year because this is the result. This is what happens. Either the stock stays flat for 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years to catch up to the valuation, or maybe the stock never recovers from these all-time high, from the high expectations that the company couldn't meet. But hats off to Nvidia because they are meeting these expectations and the PE keeps going lower because the EPS estimate keeps going higher. So this has done amazingly well. But this is what I would tell investors that have not bought Nvidia, that you should not regret missing out on Nvidia because you have to ask yourself, why would you have bought it? Because of the story. Well, can you do it again? Can you find the next Nvidia again? Can you find it every single year? And the answer is no. And this is why I stick more with consistency, something that works every single year, and not just something I'm trying to pick the next big thing, which only works 1 out of 10 times or 11 times. So I don't really regret missing on Nvidia, and I hope more investors stop watching Nvidia. They focus on themselves, focus on their own portfolios. They don't have to buy Nvidia to make money, which takes me to the third question. Is my portfolio doing okay? I mean, how is my portfolio doing? I missed on Nvidia, I missed on Palantir, I missed on SMCI, microchips or whatever that was for AI. I missed on all the AI stocks. I missed on Amazon. I missed on Microsoft with OpenAI and all these things. How is my portfolio doing? And I do a video every single year. I did one in 2022. I did one in 2023, sharing my year-to-date return, sharing everything I did, sharing my live trades of the things I did, timestamp trades, sharing where I talked about them on YouTube and when I bought them and when I sold them. But you still have a lot of people that tell me, why don't you share the graph or your year-to-date return? And you know, you have a lot of skeptics on YouTube. So I decided to finally do that here on YouTube. And this is a screenshot from Interactive Brokers, which is a broker that I use, and my year-to-date return is pretty close of almost around 16% year-to-date, which is more than the S&P, and I believe it's now double the NASDAQ. And of course, you're going to have people say, oh, this is fake and all that stuff. I mean, I have 220 members in my own investment group where I share all the stocks that I buy, and I share everything with them. And if I'm lying, they're going to say in the comments I'm lying, and I'm going to ruin my reputation. So I'm not lying to you, and I don't do these things. But yes, I missed out on Nvidia. I missed out on AI stocks, but in 2022, I was still able to beat the S&P. In 2023, I was still able to beat the S&P. And in 2024, I'm beating the S&P and I'm doubling the NASDAQ. And the question is, what am I doing? Well, I'm just focusing on what I know best. I don't need to own the next big thing. I don't need to invest in AI. I invest in simple, boring businesses, small and micro caps. Some of them are mid cap stocks that I really understand. And I don't worry where Nvidia is going. I don't worry where Tesla is going. I don't worry about what kind of money other people are making. I don't compare myself to others. I just stick to my own thesis and I try to focus on my own long-term consistent return. And I try to focus on a strategy that's consistent. Finding the next Nvidia is not a consistent strategy. And I showed you why in the video. And this is an example of the stocks I invested in. And this is a stock I talked about on YouTube. It was $3.20 per share. And my cost basis around $1.74. And this is a company, this is what I said on Twitter. I said, I don't invest in AI. I invest in boring businesses that I understand best, like this meatballs companies. They make meatballs. That's all they make. Some chicken and stuff, but mostly meatballs, which has now returned 158%. And from my cost basis, it's up 187%. I will never chase the next big thing. And I showed you why in this video. Sometimes it works and it might work for a while, but after a while, as Warren Buffett says, the tide goes out and we find out who's been swimming naked. And I have to say that Nvidia has been surprising me. It has been meeting the expectations, but I'm going to continue doing my own thing, continue to finding small and micro caps. And if you'd like to learn more about what I do, you could check out the link in the description. There's a video. You could watch it and see if this is something you're interested in. But again, I don't compare myself to others. I just stick to my own thesis and to my own investment process. And I encourage people that made money in Nvidia, tell them congratulations. And I hope you learn more of a sustainable strategies that could get you sustainable returns, because finding the next Nvidia is not something gonna happen every single year. And for the people that missed out, I mean, yeah, I missed out too. And maybe you have better return year to date than me. Maybe you have a worse year to date return, but it's fine. Don't compare yourself to others and stick to something like with your own thesis. And this is what I tell people. And again, this is not a sustainable strategy, finding the next Nvidia. And this was just my honest opinion on Nvidia, on this whole thing. And I hope you found it helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's not financial advice, but if you did enjoy it, please press the like button. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe consider subscribing. And I hope to see you in another video.